my IG disclaimer to explain it. Too many people were coming. Too many people were coming inside my DMs, and that's not the correct way to approach somebody. Too many people were coming with offers that actually aren't going to pay me. Like at the end of the day, look, it takes like 6 months to illustrate a book. During those 6 months, I have to pay my bills. I have to eat, right? People come into me and saying, Dapo, I have this great idea for a book.
It's always a great idea, right?
Yeah, it's always brilliant, isn't it? It's always the best idea I've ever heard in my life. Come and work on this book. When you finish this book, that's when we'll go and sell it, and together we will break the money. So what do I do to eat while I'm working for 6 months on your book? You know? And then also, again, people don't take the time to learn about how much money it actually costs to hire somebody for 6 months to work on a book. Now, I don't say this to sound braggy, but my pay at the moment is in a specific realm of pay. So now my time, because of the pay that I get, now my time is valued at this amount. So I would be stupid, very, very stupid, to take on your job and drop the job that's valued at the amount that my time is now worth. Do you understand? So for me, that's why I had to just put no commissions, because the commissions that are able to afford the time, the amount of money that my time is now valued at, those commissions would come through the proper channels. They'd come through a publisher who would reach out to my agent. You know, if you're coming to me in my DMs by yourself, it's very rare that you're going to be able to afford my time. And that's not to say that your project is not worth my time, but unfortunately, I have bills to pay. I have things that I have to pay for, like in my life. So as much as your project is good, the most I'll do when I see a project that I'm like, oh shit, that's exciting. But I just don't, I'll say to them, Omar, take that to a publisher. I think it's dope. They will snap it up. If your work is good, and that's not to say publishers are the absolute tastemakers, they're not. Sometimes they miss the trick. But if your work is good, you will find a home for that job. That book, somebody will pick it up. Either an agent will pick it up or a publisher will pick it up. If it's doing what it's supposed to do, somebody will pick it up. And when they pick it up, they will now put the money behind it to be able to afford an actual working illustrator. Now, that's not to say that you can't go and find an illustrator yourself. There are plenty of people use Fiverr. I would never recommend it, but people use Fiverr. I would never recommend it. Somebody was using my work on Fiverr to say that they can draw like me. It was crazy. So I would never recommend it, but people take shortcuts all the time. What you pay for is what you get. That's what I would say on that one. What you pay for is what you get. I'm not here to crush anybody's dreams, but I do think that having a knowledge of the industry, having a knowledge of how much illustrators earn, will give you an understanding of how much is needed to make the book. And then my issue as well, why I had to put no commissions, is people still don't listen. People still come in my DMs. They say, I saw you're not doing commissions, but I just thought I would try.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? You saw I'm not doing commissions, but you thought you would try. What has changed? So anyway, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I guess what I would say to people is, that's why to do the research, learn about these things, learn that there's a proper way that these things work. And when I say proper, I mean a standardized way, a way that people approach. When you want to get an illustrator, this is how much it costs, this is how much time it takes to make, because people also think that we make books like that. It doesn't happen. Like the shortest amount of time, that book you held up, the little one, it took me a month to make that one. It took me 1 month to make it. That's the shortest amount of time, but that's because it's not the full book. It's a smaller book. So that's why it took a month. On average, it takes 6 months to make a book. Sometimes I'm working on 3 or 4 books at a time. So it takes time. And being realistic with that, on your end, before you approach an illustrator, that's,